Hello, and welcome to our webinar presentation on mobility, specifically Aero and Maritime Trends and Solutions. My name is Steve Moses, and I'm a Senior Director in the IDIRECT Product Management Team responsible for the Aero vertical market. I'm here today with Anthony Pego, who's a Director for the Maritime vertical market. Today we're going to discuss some of the current trends in the VSAT mobility space and the capabilities and solutions that IDIRECT is bringing to address these markets. First, a bit of background on IDIRECT'S experience in the VSAT mobility market. IDIRECT has been supporting VSAT mobility solutions for more than 20 years in the maritime space and more than 10 years in the aeronautical space. As the VSAT marketplace has evolved with newer high-performance HTS satellites, we're now supporting global mobility solutions with the 3 largest HTS satellite operators, which are wholesaled to customers and service providers around the world. With years of mobility experience and mobile network implementations around the world, IDIRECT has developed a comprehensive and robust solution for mobile VSAT. Today, we are the technology behind the majority of maritime VSAT implementations, and in the Aero VSAT space, we have well over 2,000 connected commercial aircraft and business jets. In addition, we have a great presence with both the U.S. military and international MODs for Aero, ISR, ground, and comms on the pause applications. We also have a very healthy presence in the enterprise market. As a mobility platform of choice for the global satellite providers, we continue to innovate on our solutions to offer the best mobility experience in the VSAT market. So let's talk about what you need to build a modern mobility network for VSAT. First, you need to choose a solution that will give you the highest efficiency and performance for the applications you are targeting, with a variety of modem solutions that grow with the performance needs of the subsegments of the market. For mobile networks, you need a solution that will easily enable you to scale your network along with your customer base and capacity requirements, a solution that provides flexibility to optimize and differentiate the solution for your unique needs, and a solution that enables out-of-the-box mobility functionality so you can focus on delivering service to your customers. To deliver a high-quality, seamless mobility experience, you need a solution that automatically manages and maintains your customer's connection as the terminal transitions beams, satellites, and even multiple provider networks. In addition, in this dynamic environment, the solution must effectively manage available satellite capacity, varying link performance, congestion, oversubscription, and quality of service to deliver the best user experience and meet your customer SLAs. HTS satellites have brought a significant change to the VSAT industry in the past few years. These larger satellites enable significantly better link budgets, which also enable higher efficiency and higher speeds than ever before. These satellites have also enabled smaller terminals to operate more cost-effectively with standard technologies. To take advantage of these increased levels of performance, IDIRECT has introduced solutions that enable DVB-S2X, which can offer up to 5.7 bits per hertz efficiency to a VSAT. In addition, we've extended our returns with larger carriers supporting higher speeds, as well as adding 16 QAM for higher efficiency, capabilities that without HTS you wouldn't have been able to take advantage of in the past. Another trend that has occurred with the advent of HTS is the need for significantly higher scale of teleport equipment to enable the same area of coverage. This drives the need to optimize how multi-beam networks are managed as the scale of the solution grows dramatically. In addition, networks that are a hybrid of HTS, wide beam, and multiple bands need to be managed and optimized together to optimally deliver global capacity where it's needed and when it's needed for your customers. So let's talk about what IDIRECT delivers from a platform perspective. First, let me generally introduce the IDIRECT Universal Platform. This solution consists of NMS management, teleport infrastructure, and a variety of remote modem products that address various market segments. Our Universal Platform has been designed so the hardware you invest in is scalable to work with traditional broadbeam, as well as HTS, Ultra HTS, and to leverage the performance and efficiency enabled by those satellites. At the teleport, we use our Universal 15152 hub chassis as the base building block. This chassis is a high-density, scalable solution which can incorporate ULC or DLC line cards, which enable the transmit and receive waveforms of the universal platform. The transmit cards are capable of DVB-S2 or DVB-S2X with mod codes up to 256 APSK, and the receive cards handle multi-channel upstream adaptive TDMA to 29 megasymbol carriers and mod codes from spread spectrum to 16 QAM. Our universal hub now has universal compute. This scalable system consisting of one or more 2 rack unit chassis with up to 4 blade servers each, which can run virtualized applications. Each blade within the chassis can support up to 500 megahertz of throughput when used for packet processing. These blades have an N-to-1 redundancy configuration, and the chassis can mesh together within the teleport to provide greater resiliency. Combined with our geographic hub redundancy options, the overall solution brings carrier-class high availability to the VSAT market. All of these IDIRECT universal hub components, the chassis, line cards, and universal compute are common between Evolution and Velocity systems, ensuring your investment is protected. On the remote side, IDIRECT is introducing a line of IQ series remotes which bring high-performance DVB-S2 and DVB-S2X capabilities to the fixed and mobile VSAT marketplace. These platforms address all the various VSAT submarkets and are licensable with features to enable optimized pricing for various subsegments. On the left, you see the IQ desktop, which is targeted to the fixed enterprise and prosumer markets. The IQ 200 and 500 bring IDIRECT's sophisticated mobility capabilities to the enterprise and mobility markets with multiple offerings from basic to advanced VSAT LTE Wi-Fi integration. Anthony is going to cover this for you in a few slides. The IQ 800 Aero is IDIRECT's latest high-performance modem targeted at the Aero commercial marketplace, which I have more detail on in a few slides as well. The mobile VSAT market dynamics, in conjunction with high-performance HTS satellites and hybrid networks, require increasingly sophisticated bandwidth and capacity management to maintain customer SLAs. IDIRECT's advanced quality of service has been completely integrated with the mobility features to manage capacity as a single pool across a large global network. Our solution enables the service provider to divide bandwidth amongst services across multiple remote types, user profiles, classes of service, or dedicated pools of bandwidth for customers to create their own differentiated services within the overall system. Overall, our solution enables the optimized allocation of capacity across a global mobility network, ensuring your customers' critical application needs and SLAs are met. IDIRECT also continues to innovate on the mobility front. Today, we offer automatic beam switching capabilities, which can have minimal or no impact on user traffic. We can automatically manage satellite switches or band switches based on service provider provided maps, real-time traffic conditions, or driven through external APIs. We're also able to maintain user sessions across beam switches and have features such as fast reacquisition to minimize traffic interruption in the event of a blockage. IDIRECT's most recent feature is multi-provider roaming, where you and another service provider can agree to share capacity and the terminal will automatically switch between providers to extend coverage of your network, all while maintaining a consistent user experience in SLA. So now let's talk more specifically about the Aero market and the solutions that IDIRECT brings. The connected Aero market has finally hit its stride and is steadily growing at about 2,000 connected aircraft per year. Today, more than 8,000 aircraft are connected by VSAT, and that's anticipated to grow to more than 23,000 by 2025. This is really being driven by the need for data for nose-to-tail connectivity of the E-enabled aircraft. This data is used for applications like real-time weather updates, crew management, maintenance, and of course, passenger in-flight connectivity and in-flight entertainment services. So what does IDIRECT provide for the Aero mobility solution? On the left of this slide, we have a satellite. On the left of the slide in this diagram, we have the IDIRECT Universal Hub, which manages the network bandwidth allocation, quality of service, and beam switching, On the right, we have pictured the components of a typical ARINC 791 terminal. The terminal consists of the aperture antenna at the top, a CARFU, a KUKA radio frequency unit containing the buck and LMB functions, a CANDU, a KA-KU network data unit, also sometimes known as an antenna controller, and the IDIRECT-enabled modman. For the commercial aero market, IDIRECT typically supplies a modem like a CX780 or the new IQ800 board, which is integrated by the terminal provider into their own modman solution. On the defense side, IDIRECT offers a couple of modman solutions, the 9800AE or AR, and a board level 980 modem, which we'll speak about in a couple slides. So let's talk a little bit more about IQ's new IQ800 Aero modem. The IQ800 is a board level product specifically designed for the commercial and business jet markets. We designed it to be form-fit compatible with the CX780 to enable faster integrations in existing solutions, and is specifically designed to meet DO-160 requirements as well as requirements for line-fit modman solutions. The IQ800 Aero is designed with multiple DVB-S2 and DVB-S2X receivers to support networks of both technologies, seamless beam switching, as well as multi-guest overlay functions. In addition, we've equipped it with a high-performance transmitter for either adaptive TDMA or SCPC operations, and of course it operates in a high-speed mobility environment using our high-speed Doppler compensation feature. And like all our mobile terminals, it supports the open AMIP antenna interface. On the defense side, we offer 3 different aeronautical platforms. 2 of these are the 9800AE and AR, an ARINC 600 form factor, and a rack mount form factor modman, each of which contain a 980 modem, Ethernet switch, and an x86 embedded compute module for your own applications. In addition, we offer a 980 board level product for custom integrations. The defense aero products support ultra high-speed combo move operation, supersonic operation, and are FIPS 140-2 level 3 certified and WGS certified. These platforms are really the ideal choice when developing your aero defense or ISR solutions. Now I'd like to welcome Anthony Pego to speak further with you about our maritime mobility solutions. Anthony?
Thanks, Steve. So over the next few slides, I'll cover our maritime solutions and some of the trends that are happening in the maritime market. And so if you watch anybody at a conference or read any of the research documents or research company reports, you'll always hear about the connected vessel, and this takes on many different forms depending on the segment of the maritime market you're talking about. At the top of the bandwidth demand list in a segment of the maritime market that's always been connected, cruise ships really demand a lot of bandwidth, and these are like floating cities. They have thousands of passengers. They also have all the crew and guest entertainment and connectivity functionality that are to be expected to work basically like they have with an experience like they have on shore. So there's a lot of devices. Everybody's carrying different devices, multiple devices onto the vessel, including the crew. We have, again, thousands of passengers, thousands of crew, possibly. And then, of course, there's all the sensors and back office IT systems, which also need bandwidth and connectivity. So cruise ships are at the front of connectivity from my perspective, and really have always been a user of VSAT from the beginning. Commercial ships have also been taking up the connectivity for crew welfare as the primary focus, but also now the cost of connectivity can now be realized based on efficiency for shipping and the routes that these vessels take. And so basically the cost of VSAT connectivity could be covered easily by having optimized shipping routes around weather or any other kind of obstacle, and really make sure that you're not wasting any fuel, which is another high cost for commercial ships. Additionally, sensors on all the engines and other parts of the ship are also sending data back. They could be used for maintenance, preventative maintenance, and also in the future, unmanned shipping as well. Super yachts are another high-end user of VSAT connectivity who really want, these users really want a lot of bandwidth, usually for streaming or video conferencing, as the owner of the yacht gets on the vessel and wants to continue to conduct business or maybe watch a soccer game. And so there's not a lot of passengers on these kinds of vessels, but they really require high-speed connectivity. In an emerging part of the maritime market is fishing and smaller yachts. We see the most opportunity in these vessels as HTS opens up new opportunities for them. They may need smaller antennas because of the weight or location of the antennas on the vessel, and the better economics surrounding HTS and the bits per hertz and the cost of megabits delivered is also making it more affordable, and these markets are opening up. And we also see a lot of the terminal manufacturers are coming up with terminals that are easier to install, faster to install, and easier to maintain as well. And so fishing market has a lot of also regulatory changes that are happening. As they're out at sea, they're expected to report back on their catch. They could also optimize how much and what they're catching as well while out there at sea doing their activities. And basically, they could save money by not catching something that's not in demand anymore, or as demand changes, they can adjust. So how do you service these new connected vessels that all are requiring VSAT connectivity? And it really starts with the hub and line cards that Steve has already covered. So the great part of the IDIRECT hub system, as Steve mentioned, is that you can service both types of mobility customers, Aero and Maritime, with the same products, the same hubs and line cards. So there's no change here in terms of what you're able to do, and it's basically what Steve has already covered. What I'd like to do is cover the different remote solutions that we have available. So for a while now, we've had our X7 series, which is a 1RU rack mount or board capable modem. It only does S2, DVB-S2 and adaptive TDMA return, and can also support link encryption. So this modem might be useful if you have any legacy networks or modems where S2X is not required. And basically now we are expanding our IQ series to the IQ 200 and 500, which I will get into a little more detail in the next few slides. But these are our S2 and S2X modems with adaptive TDMA returns, and also can support link encryption. And these are well suited for the mobility environment of Maritime. Lastly, we have the IQ series LTE, IQ LTE, which I will cover as well in some detail, which is an IQ 200 capabilities with added on LTE and routing functionality, which I'll talk about in a moment. So the IQ 200 series is a mobility modem, but also supports enterprise and cellular backhaul. It brings a significant improvement over our existing modems. As I mentioned before, it supports S2 and S2X up to 119 megasymbols, and modcods up to 256 APSK. So that's a lot of efficiency and power there. Adaptive TDMA returns up to 15 megasymbols and 16 QAM can give a 40 megabit capability return channel on our ATDMA system. And overall, you're looking at a 200 megabit possible data rate. We have different licenses that allow you to have flexibility in pricing as you enter into certain segments that maybe don't need to go all the way up to 200 megabits, but also enable you to do that in cases where you do maybe in yachting or in cruise. This is available as a rack mount product or a board level product which you can integrate into an antenna or other part of the terminal. IQ200 supports L2OS or layer 3 operation that we've always had in our remotes, or a hybrid of both, and also is optional AES link encryption as well. So the IQ LTE is an example of software-defined routing that we've talked about over in conferences and different webinars that we've had previously. It brings in the ability to connect in the LTE, as well as using Wi-Fi and other routing based on what the customer wants to do, near shore or out at sea. We'll cover some of the use cases in just a moment, but Maritime, you could use LTE while inshore and VSAT when you're out at sea, or a combination of both, or send some traffic over different links depending on which type of application that is. We also see IQ LTE working in the government and first responder market, and as well as connected fleet or land mobile type applications as well. In my use case in just a moment, we'll talk about obviously the maritime aspect of that. So it's the same form factor as the IQ200. I talked about already the LTE and VSAT links that you could use different capabilities. And this is really powered by the Cradlepoint IBR series, which many of our customers are already used to. They understand how to provision it. They understand how to configure it. And that's done through a zero-touch deployment of the LTE provisioning with NetCloud-based tool. So let's talk about the different use cases. So in this example, I'm showing how a vessel that is close to shore could be using some VSAT connectivity, could be using some Wi-Fi connectivity, and also be using LTE connectivity. And so in the case of a software-defined network, you can define different applications to go over different links, or move traffic, all of the traffic between different links is like least cost routing, or maybe the fastest speed routing. The other option is for private LTE networks on board the ship, and that could connect back to an M&O provider. The IQ500 series enhances the portfolio of modems that we have, and really brings in connectivity for high-end and medium-size networks. And so we see the targets of the IQ500 as land, mobility, maritime, and enterprise as well. And we're going to offer this modem in a rack mount or board level product, which the board level could be integrated into a terminal or into an antenna controller as well by those service providers. So some of the key attributes of the IQ500, it is in the same kind of family as the IQ800 in terms of S2X support up to 475 megasymbols, and this really is going to allow this modem to be used on the higher speed transponders, the large wide beam transponders of the next generation HTS satellites. It's also backwards compatible to use S2 up to 45 megasymbols. It has a single transmitter. It can support the 15 megasymbols up to 16 QAM, and the S2X up to 60 megasymbols as well. This modem is targeting at 500 megabit aggregate throughput, which will also be enabled by different licensing options, so this modem can grow depending on the needs of your customer. For networking ports, the board will have 4 GigE ports, as well as the rack mounts will have 8 GigE switch on the back. We'll also be able to have Buck and LNB IFL power as well as other modems have had that capability in the past. And Open AMIP will be enabled for antenna controller communication, and also console mobility will also be enabled. This modem will also be able to roam in the provider-to-provider roaming solution that Steve mentioned before. In summary, you need the right partner at your side. Today we've covered all the different mobility products that we have for the maritime and aeronautical markets, and we've talked to you about how they run on our universal platform, hub, and line cards. We've talked to you about our greater speed and scale enhancements, as well as efficiencies that help you get the most out of your solution and the most return on investment. We've talked to you also about how we've given you access to tomorrow's superior products and technology today. We're also collaborating across the broader ecosystem, talking to other partners who may have been part of the ecosystem but not connected directly with IDIRECT, and we've been working on making a system that will bring the best user experience to your customers. If you have any questions, please let us know, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Marketing@idirect.net for any questions. Thank you and have a good day.